Hi, it is the Human Operating System time. This channel is for educations and technology only. Today I'd like to respond to a very critical, very interesting and very important questions. And the question is Wing Chun already obsolete? First of all, I don't know everybody's Wing Chun practice because everybody have their different Wing Chun practice. However, there are basic content which we can look at, which to see that do we cover what is needed for today's martial arts. Okay, there is a objective reference that we can look at, say that what is the content of the martial art today, including Western boxing, Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, karate, and so forth. And with the content, we be able actually to see whether what we train is it cover what is needed today in martial art games. If we don't have it, of course it is an obsolete art. So let's go look into the details data, okay, objectively, not my opinion, your opinion, those kind of stuff. Let's look into the data, okay? So, we know that the ancient Chinese, the martial art for the past since 1560, the Qi Ji Guang time, who is really using in the war zone, saying that the first thing innate is the courage, the second is the strength, and then the third is the techniques. So namely, the courage is how do you handle your psychological or mindset or mental state. Strength meaning that how one be able to handle the physiological state, like the breathing and then the body mechanics. And techniques meaning the handling of the momentum, impulse momentum. So what I see is, without getting into this mind or courage or the techniques or momentum and so forth, let's look at the really basic, the strength part. But everybody needs the strength part, right? Now, let me show you one thing, which is available in the device like this Garmin Tactic Delta or Phoenix 6 or the Phoenix Forerunner 945. Okay, let me share with you what people is training at these days. You look at this. Okay, this is a summary of practice. And this is the suggestions, the data and the suggestions. And you look at that, this is the low aerobic, this is the high aerobic, this is anaerobic. So one know where one train, okay? And also, if you see that closely, that is the optimal range, the optimal range, okay? This is how people train their body, their breathing, their physiological states. So ask the questions. Ask the questions. Does one have this type of training? Compare with the modern sports, modern MMA player, modern Western boxing, you know, like the Olympic and so forth, the sports. Well, if we don't even know what is low aerobic, high aerobic, anaerobic, and we don't know what is the optimal range. Okay, you see that? You look at that. This is real data. Okay, like this person he trained a lot in high aerobic, less in anaerobic, and less in the low aerobic. Okay, and the optimal range of the low aerobic is here. Okay, is here, and then the anaerobic is here based on this person's body. Okay, and then over here it said low aerobic shortage. That is how modern sports science, like using this this watch I wear here, be able to tell, be able to know one's data, one's body, and suggest what one need to train. So if one don't know about this, one still go those qigong and then stand in this stand, stand in that stand. This will get internal and internal. You will get wiped out. Seriously, right? Because how many of this Garmin watch type, like the Phoenix 6, the Forerunner 945, and the Delta Tactics sold in the world? At least tens of thousands, right? There's so many runners, spotters, and everything. They know this thing. So your breathing, your physiological state, what do you train? How do you know your training is proper, or just thinking if I do 站桩, then my body is strong and so forth. I have internal power, I know 发劲. While the Western sport have this. Well, so that is very objective, scientific, standard reference. Okay. So do one have that or not? Well, that is also the reason. With all this new stuff, in sports science, there is also the reason of Wing Chun inception. That is the reason of this mapping, which I put it here now. As if you didn't watch my video in the past few videos on the breathing and so forth, this is the qigong, the aerobic, the anaerobic, the heart rate zone, how the ancient Wing Chun is trained, and then this 2C state, where in the Wing Chun matrix. So, the ancient, we know, is par with this. So based on the what we study in the Wing Chun inception, we map it out with the modern sports science. So we can use this type of instrument to know where we are, which is par with today's requirement in martial art, in the martial art games. Okay? If we don't have that, how are we going to compete with other martial artists when they use this type of thing to condition their body, the physiological state, their breathing and so forth? How can you handle it? This is reality. Okay, so sometimes people tell me the Chinese have this internal art, this qigong and blah blah blah, and I say, well, how are we going to map it into the reality? Because the real world today, the real world, we like it or not, is this. Okay? And also, I can show you something. This is heart rate variability. This is the real world. Okay? And that's why I put it here. There's a heart rate variability here. There's a HRV here. And there are all these discussions of HRV. If we don't know that, how are we going to handle this engine? We don't even know our engine practically in terms of scientific way. Okay? Now the second thing is, in this the strength, under the strength, we know that there is the body mechanics development, the body mechanics. Well, you know that the body mechanics today is you have this close short strike momentum zone. This is the long fist momentum zone that's always there. Like this is like the boxing, Western boxing zone. This is like the jiu-jitsu grappling, the zone, the closed zone. So the distance of the playing, the mechanic, which is for the short strike distance or the long fist distance, has to be intact. If one body is not develop that thing, this two type of body mechanics, how can one play? So as in the basic Wing Chun Queen, the short strike, the long fist, which cover the grapple zone, and then the grapple distance and the long fist distance. We know what it is. Okay. In the ancient, we know what it is. We know the power generations. We know the power generations. So we cover this distance. And then if you watch my other video on this channel, we talk about the angle of coming in. Okay, there's a straight from here, attack coming in. B is from this height, go down to the waist level. C is further away to go down to the leg level. There are three angles to come in. So there are two distances, there are three angles to come in for the basic. Now, if we don't know the mechanic, our body is not conditions for the mechanics of this, we couldn't even function. Because look at the MMA player, they have all this. So if you look at it, an MMA player, they have all this. They have this modern sports science, they have this angle. This is just for strength. We don't even talk about techniques yet. Okay, how to handle momentum, no. Now, if we don't even cover this basic, how are we going to face the competitor? We know that right now, 1850s, we have this, which is par with today's sports science, which is be able to actually take advantage of today's sports science to measure what the training is about. And we even in the 1850 we even have the Qigong part, where the modern sports science only have the low aerobic, high aerobic, and anaerobic, which is low aerobic, high aerobic, and anaerobic. And the 1850s Shilin Tao have another level, Qigong level, where you have the 2C state to fully utilize your breathing capacity. Okay, so we know we par here for the 1850. Over here, as what I show you, this 1850s, we have the long fist short strike momentum zone, and then I show you in this channel, okay, there is the three angles of 1850s in the Shilin Tao sets. So we do have this basic foundations. If we talk about the ancient or the 1850s Wing Chun, okay, we do have it, the basic. Okay, so that is how I look at it. You know, instead of going through everything and who is better, you know, fight me or anything, just look at the strength development. The Western sports science today, the requirement of playing today of the body mechanics or body conditioning, just these two human stuff. Okay, really basic stuff. if this is basic, is not covered, then let's not talking about the impulse momentum handling and techniques, because we really don't have the engine. How can we race? So this is like your racing techniques. This is like your engine of your car, your automobile, your engine, your shock absorb systems, your transmissions, your wheel systems. So look at this as your wheel system, your suspension system, and there's the engine. Okay, just so you compare engine to engine before you even race. Okay, if we need to know, are we a Yugo or are we a Ferrari? Or are we a Honda Civic? If we don't even know about this thing exists, then that is a disaster. If we don't know about this exists completely, that means it is a disaster. That means we don't even have the art. Because this is based on the ancient Chinese formula. For 450 years it's like that. This is what the content of the ancient Wing Chun up to 1850s. Okay? And now we map into the sport science, and we map into what they require in MMA today. You see that? So this is to share with you. It is really clear now, because we make it, put everything, you quantize it, we put everything into the map into the modern sport science. And if we don't do that, it will be a disaster. It will be a disaster because we have no idea what happened. That's why, again, the Wing Chun inception, that's why it's called inception. It is the beginning. We need to know this. It is really a disaster when we have no idea what our competitor have. So that's why I spend all this money on this tracking and all this thing, because it is not just I think so. I believe so. This is what the Western sports science already have. This is what they can track every day. Okay. So like this one is about a month of tracking in the training sessions, and like this thing, you have 2 months of thing. This is from December to February. Okay, December to February. This is real. Okay, so what can we say when this is in front of our face? All this reality on the Western sport, Western martial art mechanics, or the MMA mechanics, body mechanics, body conditioning, when we don't have this. So that's why if you look at the Xu Xiaodong fighting the Tai Chi player or the Wing Chun player, you just look into this and you know, can you play or not? That's why Xu Xiaodong keeping saying that you guys are not scientific. This is scientific. If we don't know this, how can we play? If we don't know this, how can we teach students? If we don't know this, how are we going to train? So this is to share with you today, okay?